Hey, what's up, guys? It's Mike Chan with Six Pack Shortcuts, and today's topic is on weight gainers. And see, I'm wearing a beanie today, growing out the hair a little bit, so don't know what I'm gonna do with that yet. I started reading comments on that, so let me know if you like it, or if you don't, too bad. I'm gonna grow it out anyways. So today we're gonna talk about, are weight gainers good for skinny guys to put on size? And short answer, yes. Long answer is you actually have to switch to other foods later on. So let's go back to the actual problem with why skinny guys have such a hard time putting on muscle mass. And the main issue is actually because you don't have an appetite. And if you don't have an appetite, you're not going to want to eat. So versus normal guys who just tend to, just eat whatever and stuff. You have a normal appetite. If you like the food, you're going to eat it. So that's why weight gainers are actually good for guys that have a hard time putting on size, because they have a hard time with eating. I personally right now coaching a lot of friends of mine that are actually hard gainers. They're skinny guys that are trying to put on size, and we're coming up with a lot of different ways to go ahead and really literally just try to force food into them and just get as much meals as they can. So you got to make sure that you're doing the main important thing, which is eating a lot of calories. Weight gainers are really good to do that because a lot of times you can get anywhere from 500 up to like 700 calories per shake. And it's really good to go ahead and throw in that extra calories. You just imagine the amount of food if you had to eat 700 calories. It's a good amount. So when it comes to putting on size, weight gainers are good to start off with. Make sure you go ahead and work out, but as you start to put on more size, you want to go ahead and switch over to real foods, solid foods, whole foods, and stick with the stuff that you like. Because remember, you're not trying to cut down calories. So in some of the other videos where you hear me talk about, eating chicken breasts and eating, lean meats or egg whites and brown rice, or none of those rules apply to you, because you're the opposite. Those guidelines are for guys that want to go ahead and lose your fat and get six-pack abs, and they can't afford to eat a lot of calories. But for you guys that are trying to put on size, you actually have to eat extra calories, much, much, much more than what your body can burn off. So this way you can go ahead and retain that extra weight. And just as long as you work out, that extra weight is going to be majority muscle. You will gain a little bit of fat. It's just one of those things you can't avoid. But keep in mind though, your main goal is to put on size. Once you put on the amount of muscle you're happy with, that extra fat that you're carrying, you can go ahead and follow the six-pack rules for leaning up, and then you'll drop the extra fat and you'll have abs with that muscle mass that you're happy with. So to sum it up, make sure if you want to go and put on size, one of the good habits is to go ahead and try a weight gainer. Now, if you want to go ahead and do it the natural way, which is actually to go ahead and eat whole foods, that's probably the best scenario to go with, because weight gainers are good for in the beginning when you're putting on size, but as you go ahead and get down the road, there's going to be more nutrition with regular foods instead of processed foods or shakes and things like that. It's not going to be able to replace, real food. So it's really good to start off with, but eventually you still want to branch over to eating your potatoes, eating your meats, just as long as you make sure you still get the high calorie intake that got your body, the size that it got to, in the first place. What else? Last thing I want to cover is exercises. When you're a hard gainer, you can't just do any random exercises and expect to just go ahead and gain a lot of muscle. Not like some of the normal guys. A lot of guys I know, they're not really doing the right workouts, but they still tend to go ahead and see some results. But if you're skinny and you have a hard time putting on size, that is definitely not going to work for you. You can't just go ahead and just try random routines here and there and expect to go ahead and put on size. It just doesn't happen for your body type. You have to make sure that your workout regimen is very, very strict and very specific for guys that have a hard time putting on muscle mass. You can't do any of the other stuff that's good for for what they call mesomorphs, or basically body types are easy for gaining weight. So my recommendation on that is make sure that before you start exercising, that you have a very structured routine in mind, where you know exactly on what days you're going to do what exercises for what body parts, and also the length of your workouts, and also make sure everything is all scheduled out so you don't go ahead and just randomly try random things. That's the only way for you to go ahead and put on the muscle that you really want, and that's going to go with those extra calories. Because if you don't work out right and you're eating those weight gainers, you're just gonna end up getting a huge gut and not much muscle anywhere else. So make sure that when you're taking the weight gainers to put on size, that you go ahead and have a very good routine along with it and stick to it and stay consistent on it. If you want more workouts, nutrition tips, check out the website, sixpackshortcuts.com. See you guys next time.